Hello, bonjour, Oki. I'm truly pleased to be here on behalf of 2,200 volunteers and about 300 employees. So I'm really an emissary of our organization, and I'm thrilled to see, Jill Cross, one of our volunteers, taking my picture right there. So I'm pleased to see at least a couple of volunteers in the room from the Stampede. Patty is the vice chair of our Community Development Committee. So we were asked to provide some reflections. Yes, we had a big centennial last year, so we've just had an experience with a big celebration. And as you can see, perhaps on your screen, there we go. There's our brand. The famous brand of the Calgary Stampede. And in today's view of branding, it doesn't really get more authentic than this. It was originally registered as a brand for cattle and horses, and it's still used today to identify the animals on our ranches near Longview and Hanna. But these letters have come to mean more than livestock identification. Someone even guessed that they have come to mean community spirit, or even Calgary's soul, if I may be so bold. This past year, they stood for something very special. They stood for the Centennial Stampede. It was a very significant milestone for us and the whole community and the 2,200 volunteers who really are the DNA and energy of the Stampede. And so our focus is now on the second century, but let's be reflective for 10 minutes. And what might we inform the discussion? How can we inform the discussion today from our experiences with Centennial as we consider Canada 150? So how about 5 things? And I was at Cirque du Soleil the other night, so this kind of has flavored my list. Cirque is taking place on Stampede Park. So I'm going to talk about dreams, wizards, legends, flesh, and blood. As we begin to plan our Centennial, we asked our 46 volunteer committees what their dreams were for Centennial. And we ran those ideas and dreams past 3 primary goals, which were to create a legacy, to showcase Alberta to the world, and to create the experience of a lifetime. So with that framework in place, along with some very generous and critical government and corporate partners in place, we were raring to go. But we needed someone in our organization to unravel and explain the alchemic history and the meaning of the Calgary Stampede. So in our celebration, our wizard was our historian. She was in heavy demand from volunteers, community organizations, and corporate Calgary to help explain the magic of Stampede by putting 100 years of Stampede history into context. And there's a number of other Stampede history wizards, including Max Foran, Brian Rusted, and Aretha Van Herk right here, all at the U of C. But we never anticipated the thirst for historical information and the photos that people would have and how much they viewed Stampede history as a way to help explain their connection and value and current connections to Calgary. So let me just show you one of the many pictures we contextualized for folks. There's volunteers. So there's Alberta. This is a picture of a rail car that was done up with CPR. So at the time, 1884, Calgary's a small town of 500 people. A group of citizens come together to form the Calgary and Area Agricultural Society. And they partnered with the CPR to create this display showcasing the agricultural wealth of the region. And this express rail car traveled the country to promote Calgary and its potential. And the society organized its first fall fair in 1886, and this brought people from across the region to Calgary for exhibits, entertainment, and fun. Does that sound familiar? So let's find, prepare, and protect, because they're valuable, our history wizards, because they'll be in demand for Canada 150. Somewhat related is legends. I'm referring to the desire of people to share personal and family stories that capture some poignant moment. Dave just shared his about Expo. When we asked for submissions on mystampede.com, we were delighted to receive heartwarming tales of family, friends, adventure, love, there's a lot of love, and Western hospitality. And some of those memories are as crisp and fresh as a just-picked carrot, and others are worn more nostalgic by decades of oration, such as this submitted by Charlotte Murray entitled Lemonade, 5 cents a glass. So here's her story. A family friend, Andrew Nielsen, aged 92, lives near Eckville, Alberta. but often come to Calgary for medical treatment. As we drive by the Stampede grounds en route to his appointment, he tells the story of how Calgary hospitality started at the first Stampede. In 1912, his grandparents, John and Marie, and their 5 children came to the first Stampede. They drove their team and wagon 25 miles from the Knee Hill area to Innisfail, where they boarded the train for Calgary. They arrived at the station and walked across the sandy soil toward the Stampede grounds. And it had been a long trip. And when they were hot, tired, and thirsty, they came upon a lemonade stand with a sign that said, "Lemonade, 5 cents a glass." And when the man running the stand saw them and realized they could not afford 7 glasses, he quickly said, 5 cents for the whole family. And their legend was born. And the story's been passed down through generations for 100 years. That's their legend of Calgary hospitality. So I think we can be assured that the storytellers of our nation will want to contribute to 2017. So let's invite them to tell their stories, help them tell stories of special years, special times, and important thoughts and events. So yes, the Calgary Stampede is a powerful Canadian icon. It's recognized around the world. It brings tourism dollars into the country. It's earned the loyalty and trust of sponsors, some of Canada's biggest brands. We're also Alberta's largest agricultural society. We're the richest rodeo around. But the sweetness and meanings of Stampede are more about the mission than just the margin. More about all the people than some of the people. And this is where the flesh comes in. So just as the first Calgary exhibition plan was being hatched back in 1884, the Calgary Herald made the following observation on the event and its importance of connecting people or flesh with different nationalities. One of the great tasks before us is to make a united Alberta out of all the Canadians, English, Scotch, and Irish, and Americans who have picked out this fair land for their home. And nothing will tend to further this work so much as an occasional gathering of our citizens together. So 100 years later, those words still resonate as we seek to maintain our relevancy with the changing makeup of the Calgary community. New Calgarians, whether they're from Edmundston or Eritrea, young Albertans and wise Albertans, our volunteers, and everyone in between. Now, some also ask us, what's with the cowboy hat? Is it still relevant? It is to us. Thank you. We see the hat as a way to honor hardworking pioneers and ranchers and modern-day Calgarians alike. It's a symbol of professional sport. It's a symbol of entertainment, hospitality, and incredible tourism appeal. It's a symbol of volunteerism and community participation. And it's a steadfast symbol in a city that's maturing, where cultural diversity is growing as quickly as the economy. But ultimately, it's a symbol of inclusion. The participation of new Calgarians and new Canadians in our festival is one of the fastest growing segments. And as Aretha Van Herk says about the Stampede, it's a great leveler. All of a sudden, everybody's the same. You can't tell a banker from a bus driver. So let's consider the great levelers that can be put into play for 2017. Now, I said blood, but I think I meant to say fire. So we come to fire. And although the mayor expressed his views on fireworks, the really big bang of last year was the celebration of our fireworks. For both weekends, we set off our fireworks simultaneously in 5 locations around the city. And that was synchronized to a soundtrack on local radio stations. Families gathered. Here's the important part. Families gathered. They brought blankets and barbecues and coolers and bug spray. Neighbors met each other for the first time in their cul-de-sacs. New friends were made. And we've had many people to call us or write us to say thank you for that. And backyard patios were open and welcome mats were out for passers-by. And what seemed like Canada's biggest block party was underway, perhaps only to be eclipsed by 2017. Thank you.